Hi everyone, I'm excited to be here. Quickly, we are going to do the second and the concluding series of our Glovo restaurant app clone. So in this tutorial, we are going to implement the user location and user location authentication. And then we're also going to do the checkout. We're going to complete the cart system and also do the checkout aspect so that we can complete the whole project. So without wasting time, before I proceed, based on the updates and then the new architecture from React Native, so there are some changes that I'd like to run you through. Like for some people who have been working with the first video, I want to really appreciate you. Thank you. It means so much to me. Thanks for your feedback. And for those who have one way or the other supported me, I really appreciate it. I appreciate your feedback, your email. So quickly, there are some issues people were having, and it was because of the new architecture. So some things changed. Like some people couldn't view the image. The image was not rendering. So this is what you just need to do. I'll quickly run you through it. If I take you now, this is the only thing that changed. If you come, let's come to our restaurant. Okay, from the category you can take any of the data that has the data that has image. So you just go to the image URL, and then you can see inside my asset, I've added 2 assets. So unlike before, one will do, but based on the setting server configuration, I don't want to go into technicalities, but that's just it. This will just solve it. So instead of using one asset, just double it, and that's all. The image will display. So this is for Chicken Republic now. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So I will remove one of the assets, and you see Chicken Republic will go off. So if I save it now, so you can see from the restaurant category, chicken has gone off. So if I bring back that asset, you can see here chicken has gone off. So if I bring it back and save, you can see it's back. So that's all you just need to do basically there, and then you have your app, everything working fine. So let me do one more. So let's go to the restaurant. So if I come to the restaurant, let's go to the Chicken Republic. So from Chicken Republic, you can see I've added another asset to it. So if I just take this out, see what will happen, it will take it off. So you see you don't have the image, it's no more rendering. And then if I bring it back, so we have assets, and then you see, so that's it, and that's it generally for all the images. So if you want to render it using my method, so that's just all you need to do right now. And please always remember to make sure that the port is the same. The port your app is running on must be the same with the port you have here. Okay, so that's it. So we'll go. So I'm just going to select Chicken Republic. I'm going to select the big boys combo. Oops. So here also there was a mistake. So I'll go to my restaurant screen. So from the restaurant screen, let's go to the Modal. So this is the Modal. So from the Modal, I'll come here. Yeah, here. So I'll come here in here. Inside this, I'll add. So I'll add the index here instead. The z index is supposed to be here. So let's just make it z index 10. And then I'll come to. I need to remove the z index that we're using here. Where is it? At our scroll view, yes, we'll remove this. So I'm going to take it out. You can see everything is working, and then you have the close button, everything is fine. So as well here, you can come here. Where is it? This, yes, this index is no longer needed. So I'll just take this out. And then we still have everything will still be working fine. So everything is still working fine. So if I scroll, our animation is supposed to work. Cool, our animation is working, everything is working fine. So here also there are some other things we need to do. We need to quickly rearrange our code so that we can do the checkout. So to get that, I'm going to, so I'll come here and so let's continue with the function here. Yeah, let's use this. So quickly, I'm going to say const cart. Let's do cart item. So cart item total. So let's get the total price of the cart item. So the cart item total, we're going to get the cart, and then cart.map. We're using the map function. So we can pass the item. So we're going to say item.total price. Yes. So we'll come back to that later, and then I'll show you what everything is doing there. So for our total price too, it will also be dependent on the quantity change, because the quantity will change. So if the quantity change, the total price also should update when the quantity change. So we're going to pass that quantity dependency array into this one, into the use effect rather. So then we'll come to our decrease dispatch. Where's our decrease? Yes, inside our decrease. So when we're decreasing it, so we're going to say, so this one remain, if it's equal to 1, remove it, and then if it's removed, let's set, so we need to set the total price. Set total price. Total price should be equal to 0 when you remove it, and then we're going to set selected additive too. So the set selected additives, we'll empty it for that. That's for that item. So we'll empty all the additive for that item, and then we are going to set the quantity also as well. So we're going to set the quantity count, and then we'll make it equal to 1, so that the product that is selected, if the quantity of the product selected is equal to 1 and the user still pressed on the decrease button, so it will what? It will remove it from the cart, and then it will set the total price for that product. It will set it to 0, so that the total price for that product is 0, because the product does no longer exist in the cart, and then the additive that was added for that product will be removed. So it will set the additive for that product as empty, and then that's for the cart state. Then the quantity count will be equal to 1, because the quantity count is always equal to 1, especially in our own scenario. So else, so we'll dispatch quantity, and then else will dispatch decrease quantity, decrement quantity, and then we'll pass the item object into it. So that's all we need to do there. So the next thing we need to do is we need to perform the add to cart function. So to perform the add to cart function, we would, let me just come here and write that. So I will say const, let's call it const add to cart, and set, okay, added to cart, let's call it added to cart equal to use state, and then it will be boolean, and we'll make it false. The initial state will be false. So after that, we also want to add the additives. We want to add it to the cart. So to do that, we are going to write a function to handle that. So let's call it function add additive items. So additive items, and we're going to give it, let's call it food item. Let's pass a parameter to it, food item, and it will be equal to the menu item params. So to do that, we're just going to we'll pick the add item to cart that we used earlier, add item to cart, then we use the spread operator. So we will take the existing item, the food item, and then we'll get the subtotal. So we'll make the subtotal equal to subtotal. So you get all that shortly, subtotal. So to be equal to subtotal, you see quantity will be equal to our quantity count. Then we have additive total. Yes, so additive total will be equal to additive total. Additive total. So and then we'll have so we need to create the selected additives too. So we'll have selected additives. So we'll come here, and then we'll set added to cart to true to show that it has been, the item has been added to cart. And that's all we need to do here. So we'll just come here, and let's take this down. Let's cut it from here, because we're actually using some of this information. We're using this, and then we're using the additive total, we're using the subtotal as well. So let's bring everything downward so it can read them appropriately in a correct way. So we have them here. so that we can get the subtotal. We'll get the subtotal from here. We'll get the quantity count. We'll get the additive total. So we have the subtotal. We have the additive total. Yes, we have the additive total, and then we have the quantity count. So this is the quantity count. So that's the idea. So we're going to move. So we'll go to add item to cart here. So we'll come here, inside here. After the quantity, we also want to add the subtotal. It's very important that we add the subtotal. So we'll come here and say subtotal. Subtotal will be item dot price. So we need to add the subtotal to the array too. So we'll come down here. We aren't going to use this. So we'll change this, and so we can run the add to cart. So to do that, let me take this out. So I'll come, let's go to our Modal so we can add the additive to cart, or to our cart item. So we'll go to our Modal. So we'll come here. Yes, exactly here. I'm going to cut this. So we're going to be using this. So we'll take this out. So I'll come here and say, let's say if added to cart is true. So we're going to say if added to cart is true, then we'll do this, else we'll render another thing exactly. So if added to cart is true, we'll set, let's set additive modal. It could be to be the opposite of the current additive modal. So additive modal. Then we're going to set added to cart. We'll set it to false again. So we can come here. So let's copy this and bring it here. So what we can do here is, let's use an empty fragment. Cool, everything is working fine. So we can just use an empty fragment here instead, so that they will belong to the same parent. So we're good to go. And so we'll come here and say, so instead our principal will say, okay, we can leave this is still okay. And inside here, we'll just, instead of writing all this, we'll just come here and say add. We'll just use add additive. So we'll use add additive instead. So let me just take this out. So instead, I will just say, let's just run the add additive function or handler. So I'm going to say add additive items, and then we're going to pass the food item to it. Cool, everything is working fine. So I think we're good to go. I think that's just about everything. So let's go back to it. So cool. So if I scroll this, we have, so I'm going to choose, let me choose double chicken patty. So it has selected that. And then let's select takeaway, add takeaway. let's select two quantities, let's select 3. So we have 8,700 as the total. So we need to add it. By the time we press add to cart, our cart item should change. So, and we should have our price also changed. So 8,700 naira is the total. So for the quantity, so let's go back to 1. If I'm adding 1, so 1 is 2,900. So 400 plus 300 will be 700 plus. So let's see and ensure that everything we're doing is correct. So 2,200. 700 plus 2,200 is 2,900. So if we add the quantity, so it will increase the quantity generally holistically. So you can see this is making sense. 1,900 plus 2,900 will give us 5,800. So that means it's working fine. And then let's make it 3. So 8,700. Everything is fine. So we should have our subtotal and then the total price. They ought to be changed. They ought to be different now. So I'm just going to press add 3 for 8,700. So if I add it, cool, you can see everything is working perfectly okay. And you can see now that's taking us out of the screen. That's taking us out of the screen. And then we have let's come back here. We have where is it? Our cart. So this is the cart item. So the cart item, we have additive total. So additive total is 2,500 because you remember we chose one double party, which is 2,200, and then the takeaway, which is 300. So everything makes what? 2,500. That means the calculation is working correctly. And then we also have, let's go, we have the subtotal. You can see the subtotal is 2,900. It's cool. So let's check for the total. The total is supposed to be 8,700. So let's look for the total. So let me just reduce this. So we have the selected additive. So you can see we chose 2 additives. So 1, 2, that's why I should bring in 2 objects. So we should have, so we can just go up and let's console our total price. So we should have our total equal to 8,700. So we'll come here. Yes, this is our total. So let's console it. So let's say console.log total item price. So total item price, let's call it total. So everything worked out fine. We should have the total equal to 8,700. Oh, we have total item price is equal to, so there's something wrong. We've not been able to pass the total item price correctly. So let's go and fix that. So I can see where the problem is coming from. So from here, we did not pass our subtotal. So what we can do is we'll come here, we'll say cart. So we'll say cart.map, we'll map through the item. So this time around, we're supposed to map through the subtotal, multiply by the item quantity. That's what we're supposed to do here. So we come here, instead of using the price, so we'll come here and we get the subtotal item.subtotal. That's it. We use the item.subtotal multiplied by item.quantity. That's what we're supposed to use. So let's go and check our cart state, whether it seems we didn't pass subtotal there. So instead of subtotal, it's actually on. So let's make it. So we'll go into our cart, our data, and instead because the restaurant, so it's our menu item, we're supposed to pass the subtotal, which we didn't. So we need to pass subtotal. So let me just come here before the additive. So subtotal is not here. So let's pass subtotal. So let's pass subtotal and make it equal to 0. So you can see the error is gone for this. So I'm just going to do for every of the menu items. So I'll just do that and get back to you. So you can see I've added it to everything now. Everything is working, everything is ready. So you see this, all the item here, all the menu item has subtotal now, and we no longer have any error. The error is gone. So what we need to do now, we go back to our restaurant screen. So let's clear the existing cart and then do another one. So we'll come here. Where is it? So let's use this function to clear it. So let's empty the cart. So thank you. So we'll come back there. So we'll come here. Let's do the selection again. So we'll go again. Let's add the food again. Let's add the food item. So I'm going to add the so we added double chicken patty. Then we'll come down here and let's add takeaway. So we have 2,900, which is correct. Then we add 3 quantity, that's 8,700. So let's add that to cart. We should be able to have our total now. So correct, everything is working out fine. So you can see we have our total price. Our total price is 8,700, and then we have our subtotal is 2,900. We selected 2 additives, so that's why it's showing 2 objects here, and then we have 3 quantities. So everything is working fine. So we can actually get to see the additives we added, so that we'll be sure that everything was done correctly. So we can comment this out now. We can also comment this out, and then let's comment out the total. Yeah, this is it. Then another thing we can do, so we can come here and get the selected additives. So for the selected additive, so I map through the selected menu, selected additive. So this is the selected additive which we've added here. So if I console.log it, good. So you can see my selected additive. So you can see it's showing me. See, it's showing double chicken patty, and then we have the takeaway. Where is it? The takeaway pack. Add a takeaway pack. So everything is working fine and very well. So from here now you can see the button, the green button has turned to view cart. So it's no longer add item to cart. So it's in view cart, and inside the cart we have what item what 8,700. So we'll come. So the next thing is, by the time we press the view cart, we want to navigate to the cart screen, so we can do the checkout. So we can check the cart, and then from there do checkout, and we're going to be using Stripe for this checkout. So let's continue. So let's go to the cart button. Let's go to the view cart button, and then it should be around here. Yes, I think this is this. Yes, this is it. So inside here, we'll come here and use the unpress button. So we'll use this unpress button. So inside this unpress, we're going to say we're going to use a navigation.navigate, so that we can navigate to the cart screen. So we've not created a cart screen, so let's quickly create the cart screen so that we can navigate appropriately. So let's go to our navigation. From our navigation, let's pick the root navigator. So we'll come here and let's add the cart. Let's call it cart screen params. So let's call it the restaurant params, because that's what we would use. So let's call it restaurant params. So we're going to use the ID, we would use the name, we use description, we use the image URL, we use the price and quantity, we need the delivery time from, the delivery time to, the delivery method, we need the rating count, all that. So let's just copy all of this and add other ones that we need to it. So I think we'll need delivery method too. So the delivery method will be string. We need a delivery fee. Yeah, we need delivery fee. Delivery fee will be string or number. So another thing we need the screen title, so we can browse the title of the screen. Or we can even get it from the params, so we can get it from the name, so we might not necessarily need that. So for now, if we need any other thing, we'll come back to it. So let's just leave this way, and then let's come here. Okay, let's create the cart screen. We have not created the cart screen. So to create the cart screen, we'll come here and let's create a new. So let's call it a cart screen .tsx. Then let's use our React TypeScript React Native short snippet. So from here we'll just do let's import our params. So from our root navigator, where's our root navigator? Did I close it? Let's bring it back. So from our root navigator, we'll just come here. Let's use this. Let's copy this and then bring it down here, and we'll change this to cat screen params. So I'll just copy this. I just copy it so that you can avoid any unnecessary error. Paste it here, and then let's import cat screen. Cat screen, good. Cat screen. Where do we have our cat screen? We have our cat screen in the wrong place. Our cat screen is not supposed to be there. Our cat screen is supposed to be inside cat screen. So I'm just quickly going to do that again. Cat screen, that's tsx, and then use our shortcode tsrnf. So let's save it. So let's import cat screen here now. Cat screen from screen is cat screen. Cool. So this one is done. So we can come to our cat screen. There is an error. Don't save this. So we can come here and let's apply the so we'll say so that root stack screen props, yeah, root stack screen props from our root navigator. So from here we can have our okay, let's just complete this. So this will be good. You can see we have the cat screen params there, and then we can come here and get our navigation and then use our root. Cool. So everything is fine. So we can navigate now from here to our cat screen. So to do that, so we'll just come here and then navigation.navigate. So it should bring it up. So we have our cat screen, and then let's pass the parameter there. So the parameter is, we're going to use the restaurant, that's the parameter restaurant params, and then we're going to make it equal to what? The food item params. So there's an error there because there are some of the properties that are not in line with each other. So let's check that out. Yeah, I think time from and time to. So let me check. Let's check from our restaurant screen. So let's bring this down completely so we can see the error. Okay, let's check our menu. Food item params. Okay, I think I know where the problem is coming from. The delivery fee. So we don't have delivery fee here. So let's get the delivery fee. We need the delivery fee, and then delivery method is also, it's not also here. So we need the delivery fee, and it can be undefined. So delivery fee here too can be undefined. Then we have delivery method here, but there's no delivery method there. So let's have delivery method here as well. So delivery time from and delivery time to. So let's cool, everything is working out fine now. So delivery time from is not undefined. It's not undefined, whereas we made it undefined here. So we have defined them. So we remove the undefined and everything is working fine. So we can go back to our restaurant screen. So everything is working fine. So let's enlarge this. So we're good to go. So we save this, and if we press our view cart, is supposed to navigate to the restaurant to the cart screen. So let me press that. Cool, this is beautiful. So we're now at the restaurant at the cart screen. So we'll quickly go to the cart screen. Let's add styles to this so you can see that we're actually there. So let me add style. Let's call it font size. Let's make it font size of 40, and then let's make it of align items. Let's make it center. Cool, you can see we have the cart screen. So everything is working fine. So if we get we can also get the params through the root, and then let's do const let's destructure it, and then let's use the root dot params, and then we should have the restaurant params. So if I can say the restaurant params, so let's pass the restaurant params dot, so let's pass dot name. So you see we selected the double combo, so it should how to bring it. So where's the problem coming from? Okay, you can see that. So it's supposed to be here. So we have our restaurant params dot name. So if we save that, cool, Chicken Republic. So we are getting it from Chicken Republic. So that's where it's coming from. That's the name of the restaurant. So we can continue. So let's start up with styling the cart screen. So to do that, I'm going to use I won't be needing this. So let's bring it out. I'll be using the safe area view. So let's get the safe area view from React Native. I'm just quickly going to copy the code from the restaurant screen. So it should be black. So let's import platform from React Native. So if we go back to our cart, cool, everything is working fine. So we've turned it to black. So quickly I'll just come here and have my view. Let's use animated.view. Let's get animated from React Native. So we're going to render another view inside it. Let's style this. So we're going to give it an array of style. Get the object, the index. Let's make it -999. And then let's give it a padding. Let's give it padding top. So we're actually supposed to pass the background color to this. Let's make it black and give it a height of, let's give it a height of 50. Then inside our safe area view, we want to pass an array of style there. Let's give it the index. So let's pass the index here rather than the other place. So we'll give it flex 1, background color of black. So I'll just bring the style down here. So inside this view, we're going to let's add some styles to it too. So inside the style here, we're going to give it a flex direction. Let's give it flex direction of row. Justify content, let's give it space between. Align items. Then padding horizontal. So we can bring that down. So let's give padding horizontal of 7. So we're going to say on press. So on press, we're going to go back. So we'll do navigation.go back. And we're going to render another view here. Now it's supposed to be an icon. So let's import our icon. So we'll come here. Let me get the icons. Yes, so let's take this. Go back to cart screen. So we can use the icon from that. Iron icons. So let's get the name. So we're going to use chevron back, and let's give it a size. Let's give it a size of 30, and then let's give it color white. Cool, that's beautiful. So the next thing we'll do is we'll render the name. So we'll render the name of the restaurant. That's how they did it. So the restaurant name will appear there. So you do the restaurant where the item is being ordered. So to do that, we'll come here after the pressable. After this pressable, we'll render another view. So inside this view, we would have the text, and the text, that's where we'll render the restaurant name. So we have the style, we have the font size, we have the font size 14, and then we have the color white. So if I get that gold, that's beautiful. You can see showing the restaurant name. So the next thing we want to do is to render this. Let's render another icon. So to do that, I'll come here. Let's use pressable, and let's get this icon. Let's use iron icon as well here, and the name here will be heart rather, and then let's give it padding. Let's give it a little style. Let's say padding 5. So if we do that, cool, this is beautiful, isn't it? So we have the restaurant name, which is our Chicken Republic, and then every other thing is set, so we can continue. So we're done with the header part, so we can move out of the header part, and then for the next one we'll use Scrollview. So let's use Scrollview from React Native, and then inside the Scrollview, let's add style. So let's add style margin bottom. Oh, we don't need margin bottom here, so let's just comment it out for now. So the next thing we want to do, shows vertical scroll indicator as makes equal to false. So for now that will do. So we'll come here and render a view. So inside the view, let's add some style to it. Let's give it margin top. So margin top of 50. Let's give it margin bottom. Let's give it margin bottom of 10. Let's give it margin horizontal. Let's make it 15. And inside that, let's render text component from React Native, and then we're going to call it your cart. That was what they did there. And then inside your cart, let's style that. Let's give it some style. So let's give it color. Let's give it color white. Let's give it font size of 20. Let's give it font weight as well. So let's make it bold. So if we save that, cool, this is beautiful. So the next thing is we want to render the cart. We want to show the number of items in the cart. So to do that, we'll come outside of this view, and then we say view. Let's render another view from React Native component, from React Native rather. So okay, let me just copy this so that I won't have to repeat everything. Let me just copy this and duplicate here. I'll just make adjustment to it accordingly. So from here, The second one we have margin top of 5 and then margin bottom 0. Then let's leave horizontal as 15. Then text here we'll have the text, let's make it 13. Font size, let's make it 13, bold. So in here we're going to come and say, let's bring it down here. So we're going to say cart. So to do that we need to bring in our cart from our Redux. So we need to get our cart state. And to get our cart state, let's quickly write a short code up here to get a cart state. So to get the cart state, we are going to use the use selector from React our use selector from React Redux, rather. Use selector is from React Redux. So we're going to say const cart equal to, so we can access our cart from our Redux through use selector. So use selector from React Redux, and then we will get the callback function. Then we'll get the state. The state will be equal to our cart state. So that will be the type. We declared cart state, yes, from our TypeScript, from our type check. So we use that here. So the cart state. So we'll get use the callback function, and then we're going to get the state dot cart. That's it. So we can always access our cart. So to get our total also, so we're going to use the code we used in our screen, in our restaurant screen, which is this. We're going to get this total from there. We're going to get the total from that. So we'll just import it here. So we'll paste it there. Then let's come down again and get our cart. So we say cart. So we'll get the cart.length, and then we're going to say product from, so product from restaurant params.name. So if we save that, we should get good, one product from Chicken Republic. So inside here we'll come here and say view. Let's pass style. Let's give it a margin top. Let's give it a margin top of 30. So inside here we can render the cart. So we say cart.map. So let's map through the cart and display the item in the cart. So we're going to say item. Let's get the index. So we can render it. So in case, let's pass our optional chain in case, so that it won't throw an error if the cart is empty. So from here, so let's use the view, and inside this view let's pass some styles into it. So we're going to say style. So inside the style we're going to have the background color. So we're going to have the margin vertical. We're going to have the margin horizontal. We're going to have the border bottom color. So border bottom color, let's give it let's make it white. Now let's do F0, and then margin bottom, let's make it 40. So we also need to give it a key, and the key will be equal to index. Let's add pressable. So let's give the style flex direction. So flex direction of row. So here now we'll render the image, the product image. So let's get the image component from React Native. So let's style that. So the image, let's give it a width of 100. Let's give it height. Let's make it 80. Resize mode. Let's make it contain. Let's bring it down. So let's give it border. Let's give border radius of 17. Then after that, let's get a source. So it'll be URI. So let's get the source of the. So the source will be item.image. Yeah, for item.image. So it's cool. So if I save that code, see, this is beautiful. So we'll come out of the view, and then let's have another view. Let's give it a style. So this style we give it, let's have gap 20, and then let's give it flex 1, and then align items. So we'll make it flex start. So text, let's add some styles to this. So inside here we're going to have, let's have the number of lines. Let's have number of lines should be outside the text. So number of lines, yeah. So let's make it 3, and then let's add some styles to it. So we'll have width. Let's give it width of 120. We give it width of 120. Flex wrap. So let's make it flex wrap and make it wrap. And then we have the font size. Font size will be 15, and then color. Color will be white. So inside here we will pass the item name. So we'll just say item.name. If we save that, it's cool. You can see this is what we're talking about, and that's exactly how they have it on Glovo app. You can check it out. So the next one we want to do is we'll have the price. So to do that, we'll just copy these and then adjust it accordingly. So we'll just come to the text here, copy this text. So I'll paste it here, and then we'll do number of line 3, and width is 120, yeah, wrap, then 15 white. So we'll just come here. Let's just render. I'll just render the. So I'm in Nigeria. I'm from Nigeria, so I'm using Nigerian currency. So you can apply your own country currency. It's at your discretion. So I'm going to use the subtotal. I'll get the subtotal multiplied by item dot quantity. So we want to render the total price. Cool, this is beautiful. You can see. So the next thing is I want to display the quantity increase, the quantity decrease, and when it's equal to 1, it will show the delete icon. So that's what we're quickly going to do now. So to do that, I'll come here. I'll come out of this place and then use another view from React Native, and so we're going to get the width. We're going to make the width equal to 90. We're going to have height of 30. We're going to give it background color. So background color, we'll be using RGBA. So RGBA. So we'll use 100. I think 100, 100, and then give it opacity of 0.4 rather. So we will have flex direction. So flex direction will be row. Then we have align items. Align items will be center, and then we give it border radius. So border radius will be 90. So inside here we're going to render. So we're going to say, let's say item the quantity. We're going to get the quantity, and then if the quantity is greater than 1, we will do so if the quantity is greater than 1, do these, else do that. So if the quantity is greater than 1, let's write. So we're going to get pressable. And inside the pressable, we'll add some properties like the onPress. So we're gonna add the onPress function. So we'll come back to that because we've not written it. So let's add style to that. So we'll give it padding of 5. Then let's give it width of 40. So inside this, we're going to let's use an and design. So we use and design icon from our vector Expo from our vector icon. So we're going to use and design. So I'm just going to give it. Let's give it a name. Let's give it a name minus, and then let's give it size. Let's give it size of 20, and then let's give it color. Push 20 and give it color. So we'll give it color. Let's give it color white. Let's give it color white. Let's pass a little style. Let's pass some styles into it. So we will give it font weight. So let's give font weight of bold. So that's it. We're good to go. So the next thing, we're just going to copy the same thing and then make adjustment to it accordingly. So we'll just copy this, bring it into this, and make adjustment to it. So 40. So this will be delete. So if it's not greater than 1, it will be what? The delete icon. So if it's greater than 1, it will render minus, but if it's less than 1, if it's not greater than 1, it will be equal to delete icon. So if I save that, it should have something like that. Beautiful, you can see it. So it's showing us minus icon. Why? Because the quantity is greater than 1. We have 3 quantities there, so that's why it's showing us the minus icon. So that means we're doing fine. Everything is fine up till now. So the next thing we'll do is we'll come out of these. The next thing we'll do, we want to render the quantity itself, so you can see the reason why the quantity is showing the minus sign. So I'll just copy this and then make adjustments accordingly as well. So we'll come outside of here and paste this. So we'll come here, we're going to have the style. So here, let's make it 20. So we're going to make it, so here we're going to pass text rather than undesign. So I'm just going to say, so I'm just going to use text, and then here we want to render item dot quantity. So let's add some style so it can be visible. So let's say style. Color will be white, and then let's add font size of 16. Let's give font size 16. So if I save that, cool, you can see this is beautiful. So we have 3, the quantity is 3. So the next thing we want to do is do the increment quantity. So just the same way, I'm going to copy that and then come outside after this. So I'll render this, and inside here we would use 30 here. So let's make the width 30 here, and here let's use feather icon. So we use feather icon, and then yes, use plus. So we're going to use plus equal to 20. Every other thing remains the same. So if I save it now, cool, this is beautiful, isn't it? This is lovely. So the next thing we want to do, let's start writing the function, the handler for all this. So we need to write for increment quantity, we need to write for delete and decrease quantity. So we need to write 3 handlers. So let's come up here, and to do that we need to import dispatch. Use dispatch from React Redux. So we'll come here. Let's come here after total. So let's say const dispatch equal to use dispatch from React Redux. That's it. So const increase quantity, let's call it increase quantity. Increase quantity would be, so we'll pass the item, and the item will be equal to the menu item params. So we have the const. So we'll find item. Let's say find item. So we'll map through the cart. We'll use the cart rather, and then use the find method. So we'll use the find method, and then we'll get the item, the first item that match the criteria, the condition, and then we'll return it. So item.id. So we'll get item.id equal to, oh sorry, my bad. So this is actually supposed to be for the decrease quantity, because we want to find the item that match it, and then we'll decrease the quantity. So what I'll just do, let's just continue. So let's just leave this. Okay, I think what we'll do is get this out. For the increased quantity, we just need to use this patch. Let's pick the disk patch, and then use the increment quantity that we declare from our cart reducer, and then we'll make it equal to the item declared over here. So that's it. So if I take you back to our reducer, our cart reducer from Redux. So if we come back here, you'll see that we have what the increment quantity is. Remember, in our first tutorial, in the part 1, we did all the reducers. We use all the Redux. We declare all the reducers from our Redux store. So that's what we called here. So that's what we're calling here. So that's it. So the next one we'll do is the decrease quantity. So I'll just copy the increase quantity and make adjustment to it. Wash. So let's call this decrease. So decrease quantity will be equal to, so here now we can now use the find method. So const find item. So we're going to use the find method here and return the first item that match the condition, the criteria. So it will be item.id equals, it will be equal to item.id. Cool. So we'll come here. If find item the quantity is equal to 1, if find item the quantity is equal to 1. So if it's equal to 1, we will use the dispatch and remove the item. So we use dispatch, and use remove from cart. So it will be from our reducer as well, and then we'll pass the item. Cool. Else, that means the quantity is greater than 1. So what we just need to do is just decrease. So we'll come here and say decrement. So let's get decrement quantity from our reducer, and then we'll pass the item as well. So that's all we need to do. So we'll come out of here, and to do the delete, so we'll copy this. We also need to write for the delete quantity. So we're going to say delete item rather. So we're going to say delete item to take the quantity, and in here we're going to dispatch remove from cart. So, and that's all. Cool, we're good to go. So the first one we'll use the decrease, the second one is delete, and the third one is increase. So we'll come here. Yes, this one is, so here we'll use the decrease quantity. So let's fire up the code. Decrease quantity, then we'll pass the item. Cool. The second one will be delete. Delete item, then we'll pass the item. And then the last one will be increase quantity. It's this. This will be increase. And here we don't need to pass an on-press because we'll not be needing an on-press there. Obviously, we don't need it. So everything is fine. We're good to go. So if everything worked out fine, by the time I press this, if I press the quantity, it's supposed to increase. Cool, this is beautiful. And you can see it's also increasing the price in real time. This is lovely. So if I reduce it, you see it's working in real time. Cool. Cool, this is beautiful. And you see that's turned to what? That's turned to the delete icon. This is, if you're loving this, please do ensure you subscribe, share this, let this video go viral, help encourage the community and encourage me as well. Thank you. So share, subscribe, like, and also comment. I need your feedback. It's very important. Thank you very much. So I'll increase it. You can see the price changing in real time. This is beautiful, isn't it? So quickly, the next thing we'll need to do now is we need to get the button so that we can, by the time we press the button, it will take us toward the checkout screen. So let's quickly write that. So we'll come out of the scroll view here. And then we'll use the pressable. So I'll just grab the pressable we used, the button we used down here in our restaurant screen. And then, so I'm just going to copy this. Come to cut screen. And after our scroll view, paste this. So we're going to say navigation, navigate. So we're going to use checkout screen here. So let me comment this out. We'll come back to that because we need to create the screen. So we'll just come here. I think we'll just need basically everything. So we'll leave it this way. Let's save it. And then in here, we'll come here. Let's do, I think we basically need everything here. So we'll come here and then let's call this go to cart. Or go to checkout rather. So if we save this, cool, this is beautiful. So go checkout. Let's quickly create the checkout screen. So to create the checkout screen, let's call this checkout screen.tsx. We use our TypeScript React Native snippet, and then let's save this. We'll go to our navigation. Let's close this restaurant screen category card. Let me just minimize this for now. So let's go to our navigation, our route navigation. So let's bring this in and then let's create the checkout screen. So for the checkout screen, I'm just going to copy this and make adjustment to it. So I won't waste time. So I'll call this, let's call this checkout screen params. Let's just checkout screen params. It will take the restaurant params. Then we'll have everything. So here we're going to add the service charge. They use service charge too. So we're going to add service charge. And the service charge will be number. So after that, in here we will need to add our location because we'll be implementing the location. We can get the location of the user. So we're going to have the origin latitude and it will be number. Then we have the origin. So we have the origin longitude and it also be number. We would have the destination latitude. It will be number. and then we have the destination longitude. It will also be number. So we're good to go. So we'll save this. Let's import our cart screen, our checkout screen rather. So we'll come here and then bring in the checkout. So it will be equal to checkout screen props. And then in here we have the checkout screen. Yes, so everything is okay. So we can go back to our checkout screen. From the checkout screen, let's bring in let's render the root screen stacks prop. So we have the root stack screen props, and it will be the checkout screen params. So we can have our navigation and we can have our route. So we save this. So we can go back to our cart screen now and enable the navigation. So in here we're going to say, so let's go to checkout screen. And the restaurant params will be equal to the restaurant params, cool, restaurant params, and everything is fine. So we save this. And then so if we press the go checkout, it should redirect us toward the checkout screen. So without wasting time, let's do that. Cool. So we're now at the checkout screen. So without wasting time, let me go back to our cart screen and bring in some. So we're going to need this. Let's just copy. Let me copy up to this point. We will use the dispatch. That means we will need the cart state. So let's just copy this so we can move faster. So I'll replace it with this. So from our checkout screen, let's get the root dot params. Let's get the restaurants params. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is, okay, for now I'm going to declare a constant for the service charge. So I'm going to say service charge. Let's do service charge equal to 300. Then we can come here. So what I'll just do is I'll copy the header from our cart screen. So with time, so I'll copy this and then copy this. So we'll need everything from here. Bring it to our checkout. And then let's have the closing tag for the safe area view. Cool, we're good to go. So and in here we're going to have the restaurant params.name. So it'll be, or rather here we're going to call it checkout. So we're at the checkout screen. So let's call this checkout. If we save it, cool, this is beautiful. So we don't have to waste time on that. So also we need to copy the scroll view. So let's go and copy the scroll view and make adjustment to it accordingly. So we'll come here. Just render the scroll view here. So obviously we need all the pressable. So let's just don't need this as well. So let's import our cart. Let's go back to our cart screen and bring in the cart. So we use selector. We need dispatch too. So let's copy everything from here. So let's import the cart state. Cool, everything is working fine. So here now, instead of your cart, we're going to have your order. So here we'll have your order, and then we have, yes, so your order and product. So one product from Chicken Republic, and then we have, after that we can do the delivery details. So we'll come here, so we'll just render another view. Inside this view, so inside this view we're going to render, let's render the header for the delivery details. So we're going to pass in style. So the style, let's give it margin top of 30, then let's leave it here, and then let's pass in text. So we're going to pass in the text, and the text will be delivery details, and inside delivery details, let's style it up so it will show beautifully. So we're going to say, we're going to give it color, let's give it color white. So we'll give it a font size, let's give font size of 25, and then font weight of bold. So cool, that's it. So we have the delivery details. Then the next thing is we'll render the delivery detail section. So for the delivery detail section, we are going to display the map. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to say view, let's use view from React Native, and inside this view, let's give it some styles. So we're going to have, let's give it height of 150, then width, let's give it width of 100%. Let's give a margin top of 20, background color of black. So in here we're going to have our map. So let's see, let's see if we have installed the map from React Native map. So let me check our, okay, if we have, we should have map view. No, I don't think we have installed map from React Native map. So let's check our package.json to confirm that. So we don't have map view here, so we need to install it. I'll go to a new terminal here. So from the terminal here, we can install React Native maps. So we'll say npm install React Native maps. So React Native maps has been installed. So we can come here now and import it. Let's import map view, good, from React Native maps. So this we have, let's give it some style. So we will have styles. So let's style this up. We're going to ask flex 1, and then border radius. So we're going to add border radius of 10. And then let's add the initial region. So initial region, we'll pass it to a region. So let's go get our region now. So this will lead us to bringing up the function for our location using Expo location. So to do that, we'll come up here. Let's declare the state to handle our region. So let's come here, and inside here I'm going to say const. So const, let's have the region, then set region to be a view state, and it will be an object. So inside the object, we're going to have latitude. Or let's just go from here now. Let's go ahead and create our let's get the user location first before we continue with this, so that way you'll understand better. So I'll just comment this out, save everything, and then you can see it's giving us the map view, and this is the idea. So but we want to use the real-time location for the user, so let's go and get that done. So to get that done, I will just come to my context folder. We have a context folder here. So inside the context folder, I'll create user location context. So user location context, I've created that. So we'll say const user location context. So user location context, inside here we're going to pass the children, and then the children will be of type of React node. So we have the children, then we have React node. So from React, so it has imported React node from React. So in here, before we continue, let's declare the user state, the user location. Let's get the state. Let's declare the state. So we're going to have user location. So user location and set user location. So we'll use useState from React. Let's import that. So we're good to go. So let's create that. We need to create it. So we need to create it will be equal to, let's make it equal to initial state. Should have an initial state there. So let's say initial location. So let's create initial location. So to do that, let's come here and declare some props, some TypeScript. So we're going to say export interface. Let's just write it inside here. So location params. So we'll have location params, and then let's have the latitude. The latitude will be of number. Let's have the longitude. The longitude will be of number. Let's have address. Let's have address. So the address will be, we're going to use from location. We are going to use location from, so we're going to say location dot. Okay, let's import location, everything from location. So let's say import all as location from Expo location. Did we import? It seems we have not installed Expo location. Yes, we don't have Expo location, so we need to install it too. So we don't have Expo location. Let's quickly install that. Let's quickly install Expo location. So we're going to say npm install Expo location. So we have installed Expo location. So Expo location is already working here. So we can come here and say location dot. So we should have we will use it's called location geocoded address. So we're going to have location geocoded address. So that's it, and then it will be an array. So that's it. So inside here we're going to have, let's get another interface. Let's say interface, let's get the location context. So interface location context. So let's get the props for the location context, and then it will be of user location. So user location would be equal to location params, and then we are going to set, this is set user location. So set user location would be a function, and then inside the function we'll pass this. We'll pass the location, and location will be equal to location params. and then we're good to go. So in here, see where the error is. We're supposed to be outside here. So interface location context props. So after that, we can write the initial location. So let's come here and say const initial location. It will be type of location params. So initial location will be latitude. So the initial will be latitude is of 0, and then longitude. So longitude will be what? 0, because it's a type of number, and then address. Address would be an empty array. That's the initial, and everything is fine. Everything is working out fine. So you can see that it's getting the parameters from what? From location params. So that's why we have it. You see, we have latitude, longitude, and address. So the initial is empty array. It's an empty array. So we can come here. Let's create the location context. So to create the location context, we can say const location context. So let's create the location context, and then it will also be, so location context will be, we'll use create context from React, create context from React, and then create context from React. We're going to pass our location context props. So let's pass location context props. That's what we'll pass into it. Yeah, everything is fine. So inside the location context props, we have the user location, and it will make it equal to what? The initial location. And then the second one is the set user location. So the set user location will make it an empty object. Cool, everything is fine. And then so we can now come into our user location context and finish up with the whole code. So the next thing we want to do is we'll get the user location. We'll get the permission to access, to make use of the user location from the user's phone. So from the user's mobile phone. So the user will need to turn off their location, and then we'll ask for what? A request to make use of the user location to get what? Their address. So that's what we're going to write now. So to do that, we'll come inside the user location context. So inside the user location context, we will use effect from React. So use effect from React, and then it will take a callback function. And the callback function, inside the callback function, will take an async method. We use an async method, and then the async method. So inside the async method, so we'll get the status. So let's get the status. To get the status, we're going to say await location. So we'll get the location from Expo location dot. So we'll use what we call request foreground permission async. So that's what we'll use to access. First of all, we want to get the status. So when we use the location, the request, it will send a request so that when the user open the app, the request will pop up. So for the user to grant us access toward the user location, so it will pop it up when the user open the app. So you'll see everything shortly. So we'll get the status. So we want to know the status if the user granted, what? The request, so that we can use, the user needs to grant the request, so we can use what? We can use the user, we can access the user location through their phone, their mobile phone. So to do that, so we'll get the status. So from here, to get the status now, we'll now say if status, let's say if status is not equal to granted, that means the user denied or declined our request. So if it's not equal to granted, we're going to run a code. So let's just, for now, for tutorial sake, let's just run console.log and error occurred. So, and then we'll say return. So we'll return else. We will now use what? We will get the location. So we'll get the location using the user location. So we're going to say await, using the await method. So we're going to get the location. So the location, what we'll do here is to get current position async. So it is called get current position async. Get current position async. So then we'll pass the object into it. So get current position async, and from there we can destructure that. So inside the location, inside this location now, we will get the coordinates, and from the coordinates we can get the latitude and the longitude of the user location. So come here and say, so to destructure this, we're going to do this, and then we'll say location. So we'll find the chords, that's coordinates. So from the coordinates we can get what the latitude, good, and then we can also get the longitude. So that's the idea. So after that, we also get what the address of the user. So to get the address of the user, I'm just going to declare a constant, and using I'll pass the await, so that it can wait for it to work, to load, and return what? A result, a response. So to get the address, we will use what we call reverse geocode async. So we'll get reverse geocode async, and then from the reverse geocode async, we will put what our latitude and then the longitude. So we'll pass it into the reverse geocoding. So from the latitude and longitude, it will bring up what the address, to get the address of that location. So that's the idea, and that's how it works in real time, and you'll see everything shortly. So once we get that, so we can now we'll set the user location, so it stops using the initial state, and then we set it to what? Latitude, and then the longitude, and then the address. It's an object, so we'll get the address, and that's it. Then after the whole thing here, we'll come here and add this function so that it can run, so that we can call it up. So it will call what? To call the function, and here we'll pass our dependency array so that it will run once, so that it will keep running it will keep repeating the same code and end up being a bug. So from here we're going to write the return function. So we'll get into the return, and inside the return we want to get the location context. Let's get the provider. So location context dot provider. So and then inside the location context dot provider, we'll get the value. And the value will be, so we'll pass another one. It will be user location, and then set user location, and then inside here we'll pass the children. Cool, that's it. So one more thing we need to do is we need to export everything. So to do that, we'll just come here and we'll export the location context, export location context, and also user location context. So my location context, let's write it correctly so we won't make mistakes. So let me access all the location context. So inside the location context, let me just write, it has to be small letter O there. So everything is still remain the same and everything is fine. So we're good to go. So everything is fine. The next thing we need to do now is we need to pass this to our app. So we just go to our app.tsx here, and then we wrap the entire app with what? The user location location context. So we say user location context. So it's already, as you can see, it's going to import it, user location context, so we can bring everything from here. So we're good to go. So we may need to reload our app. We have to reload our app to make everything work. But before we do that, let's go to our checkout. So we can save this, and then we'll save. Let's go to our checkout screen. We'll save everything here. So let's go back to the checkout screen. So inside here, we can access the user location from anywhere in our app. So to do that, to simply do that, we'll just come here. And then, so we use create context to create the context, and then we use context to have access to what the context that we created to access it. So to do that, we're going to say const, and then we'll get the use context from React. So we'll get the use context from React has been imported, and then we'll get the location context. So we'll get the location context, yes, location context that we created just now. And then from the location context, we'll get the user location and the set user location. So we'll get the user location, you can see it's already bringing it, and then set user location. So from here, we can now console the log. Let's console the log. Let me go back. So you can see it's already showing us an error occurred because we did not fetch what the user location. So we didn't grant the request. We didn't even go through this stage. So it's assumed it's an error. It wasn't granted. Permission was not granted. So we'll come in here. Let's do console.log. So let's call this user location. And then we're going to pass, we'll pass the user location. Let's pass, let's get the longitude first, the latitude. So it will get my user location, or we can actually pass the address so that you see my user, you can see that this thing is working in real time. So we'll pass the address into it. So we'll save it, and then I'll reload the app because right now it won't work. We've not been granted permission, so you can see it's an empty array. So what we'll do is we'll reload the app, and I'll show you all the process I'll follow through. So I also need to turn on my location from my phone. So I will do all that. I will just do this and close it, and then I'll go to my settings. I need to show you, so in case you want to see how you go about that too. So I'll go to the settings on my phone. So I go to settings. Inside my settings, I'll go to my privacy. Inside my privacy, I'll turn on my location service. So my location service is active, and I have my Expo in there. So I've given Expo access too. So now I can reload my app. So let's go to Expo and reload the app. So we have Expo here. So if I reload it, you see what will happen. It will ask for permission. So it's already asking me for permission. You can see it now. That's why the phone, it seems blurry. So I'm going to give it the access now. So you can see I just give it the access now, and then you can see the screen very well. So if we navigate to our, let's go to our checkout screen. So you can also access it from your home screen. You can access it from anywhere now. Do you understand? So if I go to, you just need to use that use context. You just bring it, this use context. If I take it to the home screen now, it will display the address. So right now I'll take it towards the checkout screen where we have it, so it can be displayed. So I'll just let's move to the checkout screen. And cool, you can see I have my location. I'm from Nigeria, currently in the city of Abuja. So that's it. Everything is working out fine. And because of my street, I couldn't get the address now because of my street. So because where I'm recording from now is not actually close to any of the major roads. So, and Latitude deals majorly with the major roads. So that's why it's not giving you the address, the current address of where I am. And I think it's safe for me. But try it on your own app. It will work in real time. And if I'm lying, you can see already at least it's giving me what the city. I'm in the city of Abuja. I'm from Nigeria. I'm in Nigeria, and you see everything is displaying in real time. So if you try it on your own, follow the whole step, you get the same result. You get the actual result. So and this is the Federal Capital Territory. So everything is working out fine. So we can continue, right? So we want to display that on our app. So from our checkout screen now, we can actually come here and then continue with the region. So we'll set the region, and then we'll set the region, and then the region now, for us to set the region, we need to let's create the delivery let's create delivery direction. So let's create that first. So we're going to say const, let's call it delivery direction. For now, I'm not going to type check that. So we'll get the origin, and the origin will be an object. So we'll have the latitude. So the latitude will be user location, and then we'll get the latitude. And then the longitude will be user location dot longitude, user location dot longitude. So we want to pass the optional chain in case it's undefined, it won't throw an error. So that's the origin, and then the destination, that's the destination. So the destination will actually be the user, while the origin is the restaurant. So since this is just tutorial, we cannot provide the two in real time. So for the destination, I'm just going to be using I'm just going to select a location so that we can use it and move. But in real time, it will work. So yeah, so we're good to go now. So I've just provided this location so we can use it here. So we'll come to our region, and then so inside the region we're going to get the latitude. The latitude will be, so we'll get the delivery direction, we get the origin, and then we get the latitude. So we'll just do the same for the longitude, and then we're supposed to add a comma up here. So let's pass the latitude data delta. So we're good to go. So the next thing we want to do now, we need to pass this to our map. So to do that, we'll come to our map, and inside our map now we can pass this. So initial region will be equal to what? Region. And as soon as you do that, you'll see it'll change. You no longer see the American thing, it will change. It will use the real code. You can see it has changed. And this is no longer, it has brought it what? To Abuja. So you can see that's the road. That's the road that is closer. That's where it's using. So, and let me zoom in so that you can see that this is actually working in real time. You will see that it is showing Abuja, Nigeria. Let me increase the, so we have a tomorrow Yaradua Expressway. So I just need to zoom in so you can see everything clearly. You can see that we are not actually lying here. This is working in real time. So tomorrow Musa Yaradua Expressway this is the airport road in Abuja. So you can see, look at the international airport. You can see that this is working in real time. So we can continue. So for now, we'll just leave it here. We'll just leave the map view here. We don't want to overdo it right now so that we can move on. So the next thing we'll do is we'll render another view. Inside the view, let's add some styles to it. So we'll give it a flex direction of row. Then let's give it a margin top. Let's give margin top of 10. And let's give it gap. Let's give it gap 10. So inside here, we're going to render an ion icon. So we'll give it a name. I think the name is there's a name called location outline in ion icon. Inside ion icons, location outline. Yeah, it's correct. So we'll give it color. Let's give it color of white. And then let's give it size of 22. Sorry, I don't use comma here. So we'll have size 22. So we'll save that. Cool, that's it. So inside here, we want to render we want to display the location, the user location. So we're going to say user location. So we're going to get the address. If you like, you use the longitude, the latitude, everything is working. So we can get the address and then map through it, get the index. So the index will be number, your type number. So we're good to go. So the first thing is get a view. So inside this view, we need to pass the key so that it won't throw an error. So we need to pass the key here, and the key will be equal to index. And then we can render text to display the user address. And then we're going to get the address. So you can choose whichever one you like there. So for now, I'm just going to get the region, since you can't get my home address. So but in your own case, you can try it. It will give you the name. So the name will actually give the address of your street. Is that the street or the closest designation or landmark to your location? So we're going to get address the region, and also note that longitude and latitude don't actually get the exact location of the user, but it will give you that the road, the closest road there, the closest road to that location. So it'll give you that road. That's what longitude and latitude actually does. So we can also render. Let's get a city, and then let's get the country. So you'd see it's from Nigeria, my current location. So let's add some styles to this. So to add some styles, we're going to say font size. Let's get font size and make it 15. And then let's give it color of white. So let me bring this down so you can see everything clearly. So if I save it now, cool, you can see everything is working fine. So you have the region, Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nigeria. The city is Abuja and the country is Nigeria. So let's remove the console.log so we can save and continue. So we're good to go. So after the delivery details, the next thing we want to do is to render the summary. So we want to render out the product summary, the checkout summary, so that we can proceed and check out the product. So to do that quickly, so the next thing we want to do in here now is we'll render the product summary, the order summary. So in here, let's style this view up. So we're going to say style. So inside the style here, we're going to give it background color, RGB 100, 100, 100, 0.3 opacity. Let's give it padding 8. Then let's give it border color. So border color will be, let's use RGB 2, RGB of 100, 100, 100, and then let's give it opacity of 3. Then let's give it border width of 1. Let's give it border radius of 10. We'll give it margin top. So let's give a margin top of 40, and then let's give a margin bottom of 70. So let's save that. Cool. So that's it. That's what we wanted, and that's how exactly they have it. So you can check them out, and then the next thing we will render another view in here. So we'll render another view, and inside this view we want to render text. But before we do that, let's tidy it up a little. So let's give it margin top. Let's give it margin top of 30. then margin bottom of 10. So inside here let's use the text, and then the text we're going to say summary. So we get the summary, and inside the summary let's type that. So we'll style it and give it color. Let's give it a color of white, and then font size, let's give it font size of 25. So we have the summary. So we can come out of that view. Let's render another view. So in here we're going to use items. Let's give it font size 20, and let's give it font weight of bold. Okay, let's use 500. Then let's style that up. So let's style it a little. Let's add some styles to it. No, it's actually supposed to be inside here. So let's add some styles to it. Inside here we're going to make it flex direction. Flex direction will be row. Then we're going to have align items center. After align item, we justify content. Justify content will be space between, and then margin top. So we have margin top. Let's give it margin top of 8. Cool. So the next thing we'll do is inside this we have the text for item. Then we're going to render the total. So to render the total, we'll just copy this text again, and in here we're going to use the total. So we'll just render the total here. Let's save it. Cool. And for the total, we're just going to use, let's remove the font width. So the next thing we want to do now is we'll pass in the delivery items, or the delivery information. So not the item, we really don't have to pass the item, so we'll pass the delivery information. So from here we're going to render another view, and then let's just use this. And then we can use this as well. So if we paste it, cool. So in here we're going to have delivery. So we have delivery here. So after the delivery, we can now we'll map through the restaurant params. From the restaurant params, we get the delivery. We get the delivery method. That's what we would use first. So the delivery method is free. So if the delivery method is free, run this code, else run this other code. So let's get that. Let's put the appropriate codes, right? So we have the view, and inside the view we have style, and then we have flex direction. Flex direction will be row, and gaps, and the gap will be 5. Then in here we have text. We have text. Let's give it color of white, and then font size. Font size will be, let's make it 20, and we'll add text decoration to this. The decoration line. So we're going to use line through, and then we also want to pass text decoration style. So text decoration style is double. So come here, let me copy this currency, only the currency there, and then we're going to get here, we're going to get the restaurant params. So I think restaurant params or delivery fee. Yeah, so since it's free, so we're going to show that we are not being charged for the delivery fee, and that's how they have it on Glovo app. So the next one is let me just use the text here. Yes, we can use the text. This, and inside the text here, we would, outside of this text, we would have the delivery method. So the delivery method is free. So we have restaurant params.delivery method. So else we'll use what the delivery fee. So we'll just come here. Yeah, we'll use this instead. Okay, let me copy this. Else it will display what the delivery fee, and then to do that, I'll just come here. Okay, I think we're good to go. Then I'll add let's add the currency code. So we're good to go. So I'll just save this. Cool. So you can see it's free. So it's not showing up now because something seems to be wrong. So let me check. It seems we didn't add the delivery method into our restaurant. So let's check the restaurant data. This is the restaurant. Let's see, we added delivery method because okay, delivery method is free, and actually this is supposed to be a delivery fee, not delivery method. This is supposed to be delivery fee. So it's supposed to be delivery fee. Yeah, but I think it's using the delivery fee right now. So we need to check this code and find where the error is. So another thing we can do is console.logged delivery method, so we can see where the error is coming from. So the delivery method is free. So why it's not working? Let's check it out. Oh, I think I know where the error is coming from now. There's no delivery fee. Yep, so we don't have delivery fee here. So that's why it's not rendering delivery fee. The delivery fee is not here. So that's what we actually needed to do. Actually needed to pass delivery fee into our data. So I'll just do that and get back to you. So you can see I've added delivery fee to all the restaurants. So you have delivery fee here, and that's how we have it. I've added delivery fee to all the restaurants, so we won't waste time. And another thing is from the types check. So types check params, we have also added what delivery fee here. You see, so delivery fee we have to use string or number, because at some point delivery fee can be free. So if it's free, it is string, and if it's not free, it is number. So we've added delivery free, so it's either it's a string or number. So we'll save this, save the data, and then if we come back to our checkout again, and let's render our checkout. So we need to pass this information again so it can fetch it and update. So the information in the cart delivery fee is not there, so there's no way it's going to pass it. So we have to do that again. It's not included the cart in the cart state. So to do that, let's just use it to be an opportunity to use the delete icon from the cart. So if I go and reduce it here, so if we press on delete now, we're supposed to have the item what deleted. So if I press delete, cool, and everything is 0, everything is back to square one. So we'll go back and then we'll add this. Let's add this so that we can have our our delivery fee as well. So we'll add this, we'll add a double chicken patty, then we add the takeaway, and then we'll make the quantity equal to 3. So we have everything. We go view cart, so cool, everything is fine, and then we can come back here now. Okay, we didn't update. So cool, you can see the delivery fee is there. So you can see now, so our map is still working fine, so everything is fine now. So we have our delivery method, and you can see this is what we wanted. This is all we wanted, and then we can go ahead now and comment out the console for the delivery fee. So we're good to go. We can continue now. So after delivery fee, the next thing we want to do, we want to get a service charge. So they had service charge too on their app. So we'll do view, and then let's just copy the header for this, for the service for the delivery. So we'll copy this. Let's just copy from here. So we'll copy this and then make this equal to service. Cool. So we'll make that equal to service, and then inside the service we have a text. So let's render this text here too. Let's copy this text, and inside here we'll bring the text here. So and this will be text. This will be restaurant.service charge. So if we display that, so service charge didn't display because we also didn't add service charge to our restaurant. So I've done that. So we have the service charge, and also remember we need to add it toward the types check params, the restaurant params. So this is the service charge. It's a number. It's number. So I'm going to save it here. Save it from our restaurant data, and then come to our checkout screen again. And what we can do is let's reload our checkout screen. I think this last time we're not going to have to render anything in the checkout again. So cool. So we have what the service charge has been added. So the service charge is 300 from our restaurant data. So each restaurant will have their own service charge. So we'll save this, and then the next thing we need to do is we need to get the total, the order summary. So after the service charge, we need to get the order summary. So let's scroll down. So I just come here. Let's copy this as well. So here we're going to call this order total. So from the order total, let's save it. So we can scroll so that you can see everything clearly. So we have the order total. From the order total, inside the order total here, we're going to have just write everything one after the other so you understand. So order total. So we'll bring the total, we'll get the total. Then the total will add. So we'll get the total, and then we'll add the restaurant. We'll add the restaurant service charge. We'll add the restaurant service charge, and then we need to pass this in case it's undefined. So we need to pass this to it, so it will use 0. It's not defined. So if we save it, we should have our restaurant total. That's cool. So 8,700 plus 300 will give you 9,000. So everything is working correctly. So the next thing we want to do now is to check out. Is to do the checkout functionality, and then we're going to be using Stripe for this payment. So let's get started with checkout. So I'll come out of the scroll view here. So from this scroll view, I'm going to write pressable. We'll get pressable, and inside the pressable, we're going to add some styles to it. So we can just come and use them. Let's just get this cut screen. Let's get the pressable there. Yes, we can just use this. Copy this, bring it to checkout, and then we're going to say confirm order here. And everything remains the same except for the onPress function. So if we save it, cool. If we save it, everything is fine. So we'll come here now, and then what we'll do here, we're going to run the handler for the checkout. So before we do that, let's just write that. Let's move this and then write the checkout handler. So we're going to call it, let's call it checkout. So let's go and write that code up. So we're going to come here and say const checkout handler. So inside here, we're going to pass an async function and async method to it. So we need to install some dependencies. We need to install dependencies from Stripe so that we can be able to we'll be able to process the payment using Stripe. So we'll come here and then we'll say npm install. The first one we will install is at Stripe. We're going to say at Stripe. We'll say at Stripe React Native. So we need that. So let's install this. So Stripe has been installed successfully. So before we continue with the checkout handler, we need to first of all initiate the payment. So we need to initiate the payment. So to do that, we are going to have to import use Stripe from Stripe. So we'll come here. That's the first thing we should do. So we'll come here and say, let's say const, and then we're going to get use Stripe. Use Stripe, yeah, that's it. So we're going to say use Stripe. It's a function. So from the use Stripe, we have the initiate payment sheet. So init payment sheet, and then we have the present payment sheet. Present payment sheet. So we need the two of them. So let's get them out, and then after that, let's start with the init payment sheet. So we use it to initiate. We need to initiate payment. So it will be an async. We'll use an async function, async method, and then inside that we'll get the response from Stripe. So when we initiate the payment sheet, we will await response. So and we're going to be using our backend server to get this response so that our key and all the transaction can be secured. So we'll be using the backend. So we'll have, so we're going to send a post request. Send a post request to Stripe through our backend. So we'll have the HTTP. I'm just going to do this and write it up. So here also we need to import Axios. Seems we did not install Axios, so let's install Axios. So npm install Axios. Oh no, we made a mistake. So we say npm install Axios. So we should have Axios. Axios has been installed. So let's import Axios. Axios from Axios, yes, has been imported. So the next thing we want to do is, so we'll create the payment intent, and to create the payment intent, we'll also send the order total and then our user email. So let's quickly create that object. So let's create our order total. Our order total will be const. It's a const order total. So order total will be equal to total. It'll be equal to total, just exactly what we did the last time. And then we have the restaurant params dot service charge. And then in case it's 0, so it's not defined, then it will use 0. Then we can have our const. So let's have a user email. We won't be going through the login authentication. I already have a tutorial for that. You can just check the tutorial so that I won't waste time. So I'm just going to do randomly, but you can now get the user email from the user profile information. So I'm going to use .gmail@gmail.com, so we can use it here. So we'll be passing the order total, and then we'll also pass the user email. Let me bring them down so you can see. So it's a post request. So this is what we send to the back end, and then after that we will get the payment intent from the back end from Stripe. So to get that, we're going to get the payment intent, that's const, and then we're going to await response. So response.data. So we're going to get response.data, and it will bring our payment intent. We're going to call it payment intent. So you'll see it shortly. How it works. So we can also console that, so you see the payment response we got. So console.log. So let's say my payment intent will be equal to payment intent. So we're good to go here. After that, so once we get the payment intent, you need to get the payment intent before you can initiate the payment itself, the payment sheet. So once you have the payment intent, they will send the code. So from the code, you can initiate what the payment sheet. So just go ahead and do const. So to initiate the payment sheet, we're going to say await. So await init payment sheet, and then we're going to get error from here. So in case there's an error, so we'll do it this way, and then we'll get the merchant display name. So the merchant display name will be the display of name of the merchant. So you can just put something random here. Roti, or let's say Chicken Republic Incorporation. So the next thing is the payment intent client secret. So that will be the payment intent we got. The payment intent client secret will be equal to the payment intent. That's the code, that's a secret code. Then there's another important thing, so that it will not be throwing error. So there's supposed to be a return URL. So once everything is done, you're supposed to have a URL that you will return to. So like the page that it will redirect the user to. So for now, I'm just going to write http 172.10.3. It will return to 8081. Right. And it's supposed to be return URL. Return URL like this. Yes, so everything is fine. Everything is fine, everything is working fine. So if it's error, so you see it's already bringing up an error because, so don't worry, everything will be fixed shortly. So we can just comment them out and then we'll get back to it. So another thing we should have done is we need to wrap our app. So we need to wrap our app with the Stripe provider. We need to wrap our app with the Stripe provider, and then we'll bring it after our persist gate. We'll bring it into, where is it? After our persist gate. So to wrap, we'll put it here. So we're going to say Stripe provider. So what's Stripe provider? So our navigation container, we'll put it inside Stripe provider, and then from that we'll get our publishable key. So get the publishable key. So you need to use your own publishable key. So you get your own publishable key from from Stripe. So you open an account with Stripe, and then you go to developer mode. From there you get your publishable key. Okay, let me just show you. So you see, this is my Stripe account, and immediately you open the Stripe account. So from your home, so if you go you go to the home, and from the home you'll see it here. So can you see this is the publishable key? So for developers, so this is the publishable key that we're talking about. So we need the publishable key and we need the secret key. So that both, that's what we'll use. So you can access your publishable key from here, and then your secret key once you register with them. So and this is test mode. So that's it. So to get the publishable key now, I'm going to use my publishable key here, and then you just need to use your publishable key so that you can get the result, and everything will go into your Stripe account. So another thing we need to do here is we need to reload our app so that node modules can identify the Stripe dependency. So there's no connection between our node module now and the Stripe dependency. So we need to reload our app. So I'll just quickly do that and get back to you. So we need to start the server again so that nodemon can recognize our Stripe. So I'm just going to stop the server here. So we're good to go. Like I said, all you just need to do is to rebuild your Metro bundler so that node modules will recognize your Stripe. So that was just I just did. I reloaded the whole thing from the start, and then everything is fine. There's no error anymore. So the next thing we'll do after this is we need to create a back end for it, because we're actually going to be passing it through the back end so that it can be more safe and secured. So where we are now, what we'll need to do, we quickly create the backend folder. To create the backend folder, so let me bring this down with it too, and then add a new terminal. So inside this new terminal, we're going to inside our food app. So inside here we'll create npx create expo app, call it API, then it's a TypeScript with a blank TypeScript template. So we'll create it, and it will be called API. So we'll allow npm to create that, so we can create the backend folder with the package.json. So it has been successfully installed. So what we'll do, I'm going to say cd, let's navigate to API, and then let's open it in another folder called dot. Good. So we have the API, the backend folder. So we have it opened up in another VS Code terminal, in another VS Code window rather. So what we'll do here is, let's go to terminal here. So inside this, so make sure you are inside API. So I'll get the package.json. So we need to install some dependencies there. So quickly I will install them. So we'll say npm, you can use yarn if you like. So I'll install. I need to install nodemon. I need to install express, and then I need to install the types for express. So we'll say types express. Then I need to install Mongos. I need to install the types for Mongos, the TypeScript for it. So types Mongos, and I need to install .env. Yes, I need to also install the TS node for our nodemon. So the TS node, we need to install that. Then we need to install Stripe. We'll be using Stripe, so we need to install Stripe. Let's just install it once and for all. I think for now we're good to go. If we need any other package, we'll come there and then install later. So let's install these ones. So they've all been installed. You can see type express, types, mongos.env, everything is there. Express, mongos, node and stripe and ts node, they're all there. So we'll come to our package.json here. We will change the script. So the script inside the start, we're going to use node. So we'll use node. We'll use node and then we're going to declare, we're going to use index.ts. So we'll create that shortly. And then every other thing remains the same. We can leave it. So let's quickly come in here and let's create the index.tx rather. Index.ts. Okay, we already have an index.ts. Let's check that. So let's use something else. So I'll call it, let me call it in.ts, and then we can change the package JSON to ind. So I think we're good to go. So we can come here now and start this. Let's start. Okay, another thing we need to do, we also need to connect to our Mongo DB. So to do that, let's quickly go and do the Mongo setup. Let's go to Mongo site and do so. I already have an account with Mongo DB, so you just create an account. You can use your Gmail, your email to create an account, and once you have the account created, then you can proceed with this step. This is the account I already have existing, and this is the last project. So the e-commerce app. So it's the last project I had. So let's create another project. So I'll just come here and say create new. So new project, so that we can use something separate. So I'll call it food delivery app. So we have food delivery app, and so I think we're good to go. We'll press next. So from next, we'll have the name of the project, and then so since the project I'm the project owner, so I'll just leave it and use this. So we'll just leave this here and then we'll move. For now we'll just leave it here and move. So to create the project, so the next thing is we'll create the cluster. So let's quickly do that as well. So we use the free tier. So let's call it food app, and then let's create deployment. I think that's all we need to do here. So I think we just jumped the step. Okay, we're still doing okay. Let me, so that we can see the whole screen. So the next thing we'll do is the username. We can still retain this username, and then the password. So I'm going to use a password that we will not forget. So let me use Okine123. So I'm going to use Okine123. So let me just copy the password so we can make reference to it. So inside our backend, let me quickly create. I'll quickly create a folder, the config folder, so we can save this in it. So inside the config, we'll have index dot. Let's create index.ts inside the config, and then let me save this as password. So let's call it as password. So let's save it here. Let's go back to. So we have the password, and then create database user. So let's see this. So let's choose a connection method. So which will be, we're going to use the Mongo versus VS Code. So it's trying to create a connection string. So let's just wait for that. There's another thing we ought to do. We need to give this access. We need to get access to it from everywhere so that we can access it from everywhere. So the way it is now, the default setting, you will only be able to access it from the computer. So it has generated the link. So we'll copy this. So it has already generated, it has already populated my password here. So we can just copy this directly. So we can just, it's a ready-made link string. So we'll copy this, and then so we can copy this and also save it here so that we'll use it later. So at link, so we're going to call it at connection string. So let's do it this way, and then we'll go back here. we have to actually give it access. We'll give access to it from all, so that we can have access to it. So we'll do that later though. So let's just leave the connection string here. So I'll come here and say export. So let's get the Mongo URI, Mongo. So let's call it Mongo URI. So the Mongo URI will be this connection string we copied. So we'll just copy this, paste it here. So that's the Mongo URI, and you see the password is already there. They added it for us, and then the user ID, the username rather. So everything is there. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So we'll have export. So we'll say export const. Let's get a port. So the port will be, so let's use the process.env env.port, or we just use 8082 since 8081 is in use. So we use 8082. So we also export. So let's get the stripe. Let's get the stripe secret key. So the stripe secret key will be, so it's a string I showed you earlier. Please make sure you get your own stripe secret key. If not, any transaction you do will come to my own end. You will not be able to see and verify that, okay, this transaction was actually successful from your own end. It will route it to my own account. I don't want to receive your transaction feedback, please. So just make sure you get your own. It's free. We're using the developer mode, the test mode. So I'll go back to my stripe dashboard and get the secret key. So this is the secret key. So I'll just reveal it so that we can copy it. So we've copied it, and then we'll put the secret key here. So I'm just paste the secret key here, boom, and everything is set. You're good to go. So everything is done here, so we don't need to really come back here. So get your own secret key and put it there. That's all. So I'm going to close it. So I think we're good to go there. So the next thing we need to do, we need to create some folders as well. So we'll get the controller. Let's create let's connect our Mongo DB first. So to do that, we're going to create, let's call it services folder, and inside services folder we'll have the database file, database.ts, and then we also have express.ts. So we're going to quickly use these two files now so we can connect to our database. So inside our database, let's start with the database. So inside our database, we're going to import, let's import Mongos from Mongos. So we're going to import Mongos from Mongos. So we have it here. Then we're also going to import the Mongo URI from the config. So let's get the Mongo URI. Yes, Mongo URI from our config file. So here we're going to say export default. So we'll use async so that you can wait for it. So we'll use a try catch method, and then we'll say await mongos.connect. So and then we'll pass the Mongo URI into it. Then we'll do the catch. So the catch will pass error into it, and then we'll say if it doesn't work, if it's not connected, we want to check, we want to console.log the error. So console.log the error, and then we want to exit the connection. So we don't want it to remain active if there's no connection. So that's all we need to do here. So we'll come to our express. So inside our express, let's import, we need to import express. Import express from express. So inside here, we'll also need the application from TypeScript, from the types. So we'll bring it in. Then we also need to import. Okay, for now let's just continue. So we'll write export default. So export default, we'll still use our async. So we're going to say app is going to be of type of application. be a type of application, and then we're going to say app.use. So we're going to bring in express, say express.json. So we're going to use, quickly copy this and duplicate it. So we'll say app.express dot, so URL encoded dot URL encoded, and then we'll take an object, we'll get the extended will be equal to true. So we'll leave it here for now, we'll come back to it later. So we'll go to our index, which is this. So inside here we're going to say we're going to import express. So we import express from express. Let me just bring it from here, let's copy it. Let's import express from express. So we'll import express from express, then let's start the server. This is where we're going to start the server so we can connect. So to do that, we're going to say const start. So start server, so it's an async. So we'll use const, so app equal to, so let's import the, so it's equal to the express, so it will be equal to express. Then let's import our dbcon. So to do that, we're going to call it, so we can actually call it the name. So we will say, we'll give it a name, we'll declare a name for it, like a variable, and then give it a name. So we'll go into our services, and inside our services we'll call it express, so it will answer app. So I'm the one that declared. You can declare like a variable, you just give it that name, so you can call it any name you like. So I will get dbcon for the database too, I will call it dbcon. So db connection, database connection. So I'm going to get it from services, and from services I'm going to get the database. So we're good to go. So I'm going to say await dbcon. So we're calling the functions, and then we're going to call the app too from express. So await app, everything is working fine, and then we'll pass the app into it. So we'll pass this app into it. So that's the idea. So we'll now do app.listing. So we'll get the port from our config, it will import it from our config, cool. And then we're going to say console.log. So let's use our object literals, and then we'll say new connection, new con received from, so let's say received from port, and then let's pass the port. So we'll pass the port, and then the port, that's the port we imported. Then let's instantiate the server. So we'll start it, we'll call it, and then we'll call it start server. Let's call, that's all we need to do. So let's save everything. So if I come here now and say, so we'll come into our API and say npm start. Everything worked out well. We should have our connection, and then we should have index. See, it's working. So we should have new connection received from port 8082. So node1 is already working. Correct, everything has been connected successfully. We've been able to connect our Mongo DB, and that's why we have one new connection received from port 8082. So everything is working perfectly fine. So that's cool. So we can continue now without wasting time. We're going to create other folders. So let's create other folders. We're going to create controller. We're going to create it inside our root. So part here. So create controller. So let's call it controllers. So inside controllers we'll have stripe controllers. So we have stripe controller .ts, and then we'll create index for that. So create index.ts. Then we'll create another folder. We're going to call this folder, let's call it root folder, and inside the root folder we'll have the stripe root file. So let's call it stripe root.ts. Then we'll create index to there. So we'll create index.ts for the root folder. So we're good to go. So let's get started with our Stripe controller. So from the Stripe controller, this is it. So we're going to import the request and response from Express. So we're going to say import. So we're going to say from Express, no Express. So we'll get the request and the response. So request, that's a TypeScript for request and response. So we're good to go. Then we also need to import Stripe from Stripe that we installed earlier on. So we're going to import Stripe from Stripe. So it's throwing an error where, okay, it's working now. It's taking time to load. So we need to, let's come down here. We'll say const Stripe. So let's get started with it. We're going to say new Stripe. So we're going to say new Stripe, and then we're going to pass in our secret key here. So I'm going to import the secret key from our config file. So we call this Stripe secret key. Yes. So it has been imported from our config file. So we're good to go. So we'll come here and say export. We're going to call it, let's call it a Stripe payment. So we're going to say Stripe payment, and then we'll pass our async. And it's going to take request. The request will be equal to the request, and then it will take response, and it will be equal to response. So from here we're going to say const. So we'll get the request. So we're going to call the request.body. So the request.body, we are passing order total. We're passing order total, and then we're passing the user email. These are the two requests we are passing from the front end. You will see it shortly. We did it earlier on. So the next thing, we are going to get the const. So let's get the payment intent. So we'll get the payment intent from Stripe, and then we're going to use the await method, and then we're going to await Stripe. So we're going to say await Stripe dot. So we'll get the payment intent. Payment intent. So, and then we'll pass dot create. So it can create the payment intent. So inside it, we'll get the amount. So inside it, we'll get the amount. So the amount, we'll use this function mat.floor. So to round everything up, .floor, round it down, and then we're going to get the order total. So the order total multiplied by 100. Then after that, we'll get the currency. So the currency, like, since I'm from Nigeria, so I'm going to be using Nigerian Naira. And then we get the receipt. So receipt email will be equal to the user email. And then we have automatic. So that's what we call automatic payment method. So we're going to set that equal to we're going to set enabled equal to true. So we know we don't have any error, so that means we're doing fine. So we'll come here and return. We return the response, and then we're going to return a JSON response so that we can have access to it from the front end. So we're going to say payment intent. So the payment intent will be equal to payment intent dot client secret. So from there, we are going to pass the user email to, we'll return it, and we're good to go. So we can save this and then pass this to our, so we bring out our index. So from our index, we'll come and we say export all from what? From our controller. So from Stripe controller. That's all we need to do here. Let's save it as well. So we're good to go. So we'll go to our route. This is the route. So let's get from the root, we don't need this. Let's delete it. So let's get our root, which is this. So from our controller, I'm just going to quickly copy this express, the import express, and then bring it here. Then I'm going to say const. So let's get a router equal to express. So we need to pass express here too. We need to import express. So we have pass the express here. So express the router. So that's it, we're good to go. So we can use the router. So from the router, it's a post request that we're getting from the front end. So let's name the post request So we're going to call it create payment intent. So let's call it payment intent, and then we're going to get it from our Stripe payment. So from our Stripe payment, it will import it from our controller. Cool, you see it has imported Stripe payment from our controller. So this is it. This is what we're talking about. So it has imported it from our controller. So what we need to do is also export it. So export. So we're going to say router. Let's export router as Stripe payment. So we can save this. So we'll come to our route index. No, this is not the route index. So the route index is here. So we'll bring that up to so we may need to delete this and write another one. So it's supposed to be a file. So we're going to say index.ts. So inside here we're going to import. Let's import. So inside here we're going to export everything inside the route file, the root file, and then we're going to export everything as what Stripe routes. So the next thing we'll do now, we'll just go to our express and import it from our express. So let's make sure everything is saved, so we won't have an error when we're trying to make the payment. So there won't be any error. So we're going to come here and say, let's say app.use. So call this method, and then so let's give it the name Stripe, and then we're going to bring in our Stripe route. Did we export? Where is it? Stripe route. We exported everything as Stripe route. Oh, we called it Stripe payment instead of Stripe route. So let's save it. That's why we're having the error. So I'm supposed to export it as Stripe payment, as Stripe route rather than payment. So we should have Stripe route now. Cool. You can see we have Stripe route here. So we save this as well. So yeah, we export everything from Stripe route. So we save this, and then we're good to go. So after saving this, we can now go back to our front end so that we can send the post request to the back end, and then we'll generate our payment intent from there. So without wasting time, let's go to the front end. So from our checkout page, you remember we were doing that earlier on. We're writing the code. So this is it. So we'll come back here. Let me uncomment it. So this was what we were doing earlier on. So quickly, without wasting time, I will just explain. So we try to initiate the payment here using an async function, an async method, and then we send a post request. So we're sending the post request to Stripe create payment intent. So if we come to the back end, you'll see it here. So that's why we have Stripe here. So we're sending it to this Stripe, and inside this Stripe we have in our root. So Stripe root, we have what create payment intent. They must be the same. They have to be the same. An error, if they are not the same, it will throw an error. There will not be communication. They will not be able to communicate with each other. So we're sending the post request from the Stripe, and it's going to what the Stripe payment intent. So from there, it will also what connect with the controller, and it's the controller that actually helps us to get what the payment intent. So it will return the payment intent, the client secret. So it will return it. So that's the idea. We can come here now. So if we have here, so we're sending the post request to the back end. So once we get the post request, and these are the parameters, this is what we're sending. We're sending the order total and then the username, and this is the order total and this is the username. So we're sending it to the back end, and from which it will generate what the payment intent and the client secret. So we are now from there we're getting the response. So we're getting the response payment intent. You see, it's not correct here. If not, it won't work. So we're getting payment intent. So I will show you just now. It must be the same. So we're getting payment intent. So it's a response.data. So we're sending response.data. Remember, we're sending a JSON response from the back end. So if we go back to the back end, this will be payment intent. So if we go back to the back end, from our back end, you will see from our controller, this is it. You can see we're sending payment intent. See, this is what you are trying to access from the front end. So it's a response, it's sending a response through a JSON response back to the front end, and it is tagged what payment intent. So we need to, this is what that's what we're trying to access. That's what we're trying to access here. So payment intent, and it's a response. You see, we're getting a response. So we're awaiting response from our post request. We are awaiting the what response, and response of data. So to fetch the data. So and then we want here now we will now console what the response, which is what payment intent. So that's it. So if it works, we will get the what payment intent. So that's the idea. So we'll get what the payment intent. So let's continue. So if we come here now, so we're trying to see if there's an error. So we'll pass what the error message. Else we await the init. So init payment sheet. If not, it will what present the payment sheet, and then this will be the merchant display name. So we're going to get what the payment intent client secret, which is what it sent from here, and then we saved it as what payment intent. So we'll get the payment, because without that client secret you'll not be able to process payment using Stripe. It's very important, and it's Stripe that's actually sending it to us, an API from Stripe. So that's the idea. So that's what we'll now use to present what the payment sheet. So we can continue from here. So we'll come here and say, so let's come out of this place. So let's see if there's an error. So we say if error, so that we can target this error. So if it's an error, so you see it's already working. So if it's an error, you console the log. Let's console the log the error. So we say an error occurred, and let's console that error. So if not, it will run what? It will present the payment sheet. If there's no error, then it will present what? The payment sheet. So we can come here and pass this code into a use effect. So we will make use of the use effect, and it will take a callback function. So the callback function will be initiate payment. So we're going to say initiate payment. So we'll call that initiate payment function. So which is this function entirely. So we'll call it initiate payment. That's what I want to call. And then let's pass our dependency array. So if I save it now, it will call it. So let's make sure we have written every other thing. So let's write the checkout handler. So we're going to say, so let's get a const, and then let's find if it's an error. So we're going to say await present payment sheet. Good. So present payment sheet, and it's supposed to be await. So it's working fine. So await payment sheet, and we're going to see if it's an error. So if it's an error, console.log. So we're just going to say an error occurred, and then we'll pass the error. So we'll see what the error is. So we're going to come here, else we're going to navigate. So we'll navigate to our home screen. That means the payment was successfully done. So that means the payment is successful. So we're going to say alert. We haven't imported alert from React Native. So we're going to say alert. So we're going to pass order. So order placed successfully. Then we're going to bring in our dispatch. So we'll bring in our dispatch and we're going to call it empty. So we're going to bring our empty from reducer, empty cart from our reducer. So it has imported that from our cart reducer. So I think we're good to go. So yeah, let's call the checkout handler from our code down here. Where is it? Yes, so on press. So if everything works out fine, we should get value, and basically that's all we have to do. And also remember that we've passed it. We wrap the entire app, the app within our Stripe provider. So that's the idea. So all the import has been done. So you can see empty cart, it was imported. We have used Stripe, everything was imported correctly. So if I save this now, let me save this. So cool, you can see. So it's supposed to call the action. Let's go back to our terminal up here. So let's save this one more time. And then let's go to our back end and save everything there too accordingly. Let's save this. We'll save this. We'll save this. And it's our app. Also, you can see the provider. We wrapped it up inside the provider, inside the Stripe provider. So let's save that too. So what we'll do now is I'll press the confirm order, and when we press the confirm order, we should have all these things. If they're working fine, we should get value to present the order payment sheet. So I'm just going to do that now. Cool. So it seems we have an error. Let's check what the error is. So it's saying we haven't called init payment sheet. So let's check our code from here and see where the error is coming from. So we really have an error. So since we did not initiate our payment sheet, so let's check the back end out too. So from the back end, okay, for now let me just comment this out and let's find where the problem is. Then let's console order total so that we'll see if it was actually sent from the front end, if it gets there. So another problem we have here is we did not return our app. So we're supposed to return up. So let's come back here and let's see if it works this time. So we still have an error. So we'll come. Wow, see, we have an error here. It's supposed to be a colon. No use. Wow. So let's save that. And let's call this again. Let's see if it works this time. Imagine it's working already. See, we have the payment intent here. You can imagine where the error is coming from. Just that one. See, this colon here is the problem. See, we already have my payment intent. See, it has generated the payment intent. Trust me, I did not do any other thing. I just noticed that this is actually a semicolon instead of, it's supposed to be a colon and it was a semicolon that was there. So you can imagine. So we have our payment intent. So this is working fine now. So we go back to the back end. We are supposed to get, so they are now communicating. So let's go back to the back end. We should have, you can imagine, order total received. See, it has received it. Then we have our order total. This is beautiful. So console.log order total. You can see order total. So that's just what has been causing problems since. So we can save this. So let's go back to the front end. So now that we have the payment intent is working, everything is fine. Trust me, I didn't change anything except from that column, from semicolon to colon. Every other thing is okay and working fine. So from there now, if everything worked out, we should present what our payment sheet. So if we go now, we'll come here and then we'll press confirm order. So if we say confirm order, beautiful, this is beautiful. It's presenting the payment sheet and this is cool, isn't it? So let's check out this order. So we'll come here, let's use a date. So I'm going to use a date. Make sure the year you are using is above the year you currently are. So I'm going to use let me use 12. Let me use 12. I'm going to use 2030. So, and then the CVC, I'm going to say 361, and it's from Nigeria. So this is beautiful, and you can see showing what the total, and it's in Nigerian currency, and it's showing 9,000, and everything is there because we use the math.floor, and this is good. Then multiply by 100. If not, it wouldn't have brought this. So that's the essence of using that math.floor. So if everything worked out well, now we should be able to check out. So we need to add the card number. The card number is 42424242. So you just write 4242. So this is it, 42424242. So if everything worked out fine, if we press this pay now, it will make the payment successfully, and then we'll go back to the home page, to the restaurant page, and then the cart will also be emptied. So I'm going to press that. 1 2 3 go. Let's get it. So it's processing. Beautiful. Order placed successfully. This is really beautiful, and you can see the Stripe payment is working very well. Wow. So okay, so before I go, we can actually go to our Stripe and show that this payment was made. So if we come to our Stripe now, it was 9,000 naira. So if we come to the Stripe, we should have 9,000. So we'll go to our transactions. So from the transactions, so it should appear there. Cool, you can see, and it's the first on the list, 9,000. This is cool and beautiful. With this, we have come to the end of this project. I hope you enjoyed and learned new things. Please do ensure to subscribe, like, and share this, and I also await your feedback. I would also appreciate if you are able to support me so that we can bring more of this project to you. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next project. We are bringing up something very, very great. Another great tutorial. It's coming your way very shortly. Thank you. Love you all. Bye.